goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rock.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Day 9 of the Musikfest daily live streams coming to you from Godfrey Daniels. Our guests today are Kuf Knotz and Elise and Craig Larimer.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be
Your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese. I am joined here by...
Elise.
And Kuf Knotz.
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
I've been saying this week, I'm like, I don't tell anybody. I just point, and I'm just waiting to see what comes out of their mouth.
I just wanted to be dramatic with it.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. No, this is so wonderful. I mean, we have a full interview that we did, I think it was last summer. I think it was last July.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So people can go check that out along with the music. But for today, and even our episode, normally we start with like our picks of the plots and then we bring on guests and so on. But you're performing in roughly like an hour and 40 minutes. So
Yes.
we got to keep this short. And I so appreciate you still making time for this. It's so wonderful.
Now, we always enjoy the conversation and just
Yeah.
hanging with you. So,
I mean, the thing that I always love, too, is, like, just shining a light on this music. We were chatting about it before that I had overheard this phrase once for, like, a different kind of genre called chamber pop.
Right,
And I started
right.
using it here for bands like yours because you're taking this classically chamber-style instrument and bringing it into more modern music. So I just wanted to get your take on that, and then we can share some music and some other backstory from you all. But
Yeah.
tell us what you would call your music as far as it being... Because it
So-
could be folk music, it could be
it's
soul,
always
rap.
an interesting thing. So when we write it down on things, we usually put soul, hip hop, new age.
Yeah, new age. I could see that being in that area.
Yeah, that covers a good amount of it, but still, it's like it's very poppy. There's songs that are very poppy.
Yeah.
Dance friendly. So like, yeah, it's hard to put one.
It
label
totally
on
is,
it.
and that's the type of music we love bringing on this show. It's the type of music I love seeing at a festival like
Right.
Musikfest.
For sure.
And it's just so great. So like, I mean, kudos to you all because this is the
I like chamber pop though. That's catchy.
yeah. But the other thing that I wanted to mention too was like this was kind of some of my favorite was you all joined the songwriters round.
Yep.
And the Underground Music Collective, Gerard Longo, and myself, we've been doing this. It's been twice now, where ArtsQuest actually asks us to curate local
Yep.
songwriters, put them up on a songwriters round. And the two of us were like, "There's no reason why a
Right.
rap artist shouldn't be on a songwriters round." It's
sure.
just you. But the funnest part for me was as you were coming out and watching I actually watched the audience because they were
Right.
just like, "I does not compute." Like,
Yeah.
I'm confused. Wait, it was like acoustic guitar, kind of a plug-in hollow body.
Yeah. Yep.
a laptop and a harp, and then an acoustic guitar. And it was just like, you just saw all these people kind of go into like, I don't know what to take. And then to watch them when you started playing, like going like,
Right.
you could also see this internal struggle of, wait, I like this. I don't know. I might be sort of dancing. It was just such a fun thing. It was the crowd watching was amazing that night. But thank you again.
That's
like,
beautiful.
I think that stuff too, to make sure that like to continue breaking down walls and such of people having no access to stuff. Like,
For sure.
there's no reason why everyone shouldn't be listening to all great music. But
Yeah,
the point is
yeah.
here, there's even additional barriers to break through for people.
Sure. For sure.
So again, I love that you're doing that. Why don't we let's go into the example, because I don't want to kind of go over, so I want to make sure that we go into the example of your music. This is a recording from last night because it was a song that just blew me away, and I was lucky enough to be recording it. Because tell us a little bit about the song and the additional performer you brought up on stage.
Yeah, the song is soul music, and really it's kind of like inspired by the city of Philadelphia and
Yeah.
being such a soulful city. And,
Right.
And then we have our friend Marley who plays harmonica,
Yeah.
which is also like a different thing to throw into hip hop.
Yeah.
And so
And again, once again, kind of playing it in a way that's not typical.
For sure.
For a moment, I didn't even know
right.
what he was playing. Like the first couple times, I'm like, is that I thought it was either he was beatboxing or he
Right.
was using one of those like twangy type things that like from like old timey kind of music.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, that's a harmonica. But it took me like a good 60 seconds in a great way. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So anyway, let's take a listen. This is from last night at the festival.
Staying fresh in the mix of it all, see? Cause MCs out there be frontin' for y'all. You listen to the words, they sound just like a movie. Not in the fiction, them words don't move me. Was raised in the 90s when MCs was raw. KRS, Tribe Called Quest, PE, y'all. Remember hip hop? It started out in the park. It's an art from the heart, not created for y'all. Big homes ass lovely though the money is real. But I don't switch it up for no crazy deal. Been live since the first time I touched the mic. You ain't feeling what you hearing, your ears ain't right. Confused by the radios pumping trash. Do the math, find the difference of this and rap. You dig me, walk with me, bring hip hop back. You dig me, walk with me, bring hip hop back. So we create this just for you. It's soul music. So we create this just for you. It's soul music.
I'm going to leave this go so we can have his harmonica solo under us, because it's pretty amazing. And I actually, what was amazing about this song too was it was actually a topic I wanted to chat with you, and then it's on display in this song. Was when I'm listening to your music, it was reminding me back when I was in high school listening to like, you know, De La Soul and
Right,
Tribe Called
yeah.
Quest and this, and I think, and again, this is where I'm not obviously well versed in it, but there was like East Coast versus West Coast,
Yep,
and it was like it had a totally different angle to it.
for sure.
Anyway, it's almost like you're talking about that right here. Like again,
Yeah.
I remember KRS-One and
Yep.
Kumo D and all these
Yeah.
people who I just, you know, again, white dude from the surbs listening to this stuff, but still, it was formative. Like it was definitely stuff that I was wanting to listen to and whatnot. And then I felt like there was other stuff that just wasn't for my ears.
Yeah.
And I think it was that difference between East and West.
So a lot of those people I named are like influences, but also the era, the 90s era
Yeah.
is where we pull a lot of our inspiration
Sure.
from. And like De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Diggable Planets, they were
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
like
yeah.
artists who did hip hop, but it was like, so this is like bring hip hop back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just touching on the difference of what hip hop sounds like now compared to then.
And even to the point of like why I even created this show was shows like Yo MTV Raps
Yeah,
was
yeah,
bringing me
yeah,
music that I would have never had brought to me before.
For sure.
You won't need those anymore if you want to drop them. I wanted you to be able to hear that, but other than that, we can just chat. But yeah, I mean, like, there was things like MTV and the shows they would put out.
Sure.
And again, whether it was 120 minutes for like alternative rock or Yo MTV Raps for rap music, you had a way to be like, okay, someo's curating these lists and bringing it to me, and now it's like it just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. But it does.
Well,
'cause you do it.
But I mean, like it's like it stems from you all. Like it's something that I'm just simply trying to say. Hey, there's some really amazing artists and musicians who have great stories to tell, and so like I just like to put that out on there. So it's really about you all. But I have the dates and times, not dates, times and stages for today for you all. Actually, I have the 7 o'clock one. I neglected to point out the 2 o'clock set. So at 2 o'clock, because that might be tough for people who are... This technically is more airing at 3, so it was off of the radar. But if people are happening to be tuning in now, you have time to get there. It's going to be an acoustic set. So tell us a little bit about how that might be different from what we just watched.
So, we won't have any beats at all. It'll just be Christine's harp. Her vocals and my vocals.
Very cool. Yeah. I'm definitely going to check that out.
And so it's different in the way of the accompaniment too, because the harp has to hold the whole space.
Yeah.
So there's more repetitive kind of motion to my playing than what I do in our typical set, which I kind of get to float on top of the cool production that he makes.
Sure. So you're the driver today.
Yeah,
nice.
Just for
now I'm definitely checking this out.
Just for a little bit.
Do you ever want to like mess with him a little bit and be like, I'm taking it over here?
Well,
that's not a no. That is not a no. We'll leave it at that. So that's I always like to point that out too, is that every time you perform, it's different. So like you're not hitting those strings in the same way every time. It's somewhat almost improv based. So I always like to point that out because A, that takes an extreme amount of talent, but B, it's like no show's the same. So come down and see it. But I did want to ask, because I thought I was picking this up too. Are you also controlling the beats so that even your production is in the moment as well?
Yeah, so
I didn't notice that until yesterday, where I was just like, oh, I think he's...
Yeah, like, it's basically just live mixing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Of course it does, yeah, because if you're stuck to like a click track, you're like, whoa, we're a little off here. That didn't sound so great. But if you can adapt, and also almost, it's an instrument now. It's not, like you're just controlling beats instead of strings or whatever, but that's again like an element that I always want to shine a light on. Like this isn't just some sort of canned concert that's the same every time. This is actually wildly different every time.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
And even different songs. So like then he has the capability to like put my harp more in the production or put it on top.
Wow.
Whereas if he wasn't doing that all live, somebody that you just meet that night might not know all those little intricate, changes.
For sure. We talked about this, and now I want to do it even more than ever, is like I've done behind the sound episodes where we go into like, this is the guitar pedal that makes that sound happen in this song, or this is the snare, whatever. Like, that just a different, we would go in musician to musician to have them kind of explain and then tie that back to what song it connects to, and then they'll even kind of do it in the moment because we're doing it. People have been nice enough to let me be on stage while they do like sound check. And sound check, one person's extremely busy and everyone else is bored. So I had my little handheld camera and we were like going over some things. But it was so fun. And then like anybody who's like a little bit music nerdy is like just liked the content. So I would love to do it for this too, to kind of get into some of that, like how the hell did they do it kind of thing. Because you're also changing key and whatnot, all this stuff like let's learn about the harp. Let's learn about the beat making and on all this stuff. Like I think that would be super fun. But yeah, so if you missed the show yesterday, it's 7 o'clock today on Later Plots, which is an awesome like tree covered stage. So you'll be out of the sun. There's lots of other great music happening right in and around you as well. So like it's one of these things where as we get into this, it's like we'll just be spending time up on that area for
Yeah.
a good couple hours on a beautiful day. It's going to be like the best day of the whole festival today. So weather-wise, and then obviously lineup is amazing. So what else can we help promote? Anything coming up? I think you said you have even like you just released new music.
We did.
And you have more new music happening. Like this is awesome.
Yeah.
Be prolific. I'm going to bring up your
it's
site
fun.
here so that we can sling it all.
Yeah, so we're releasing a new album called Grow, and it'll be coming within the next 2 months. We're going to release it. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. And I think I saw on the merch table you have with you vinyl, and you have other cool things like you have tea. Like it's just Unity. I love the name. It's like the merch game is strong. But yeah, definitely check out all the merch available. And if you're not able to come to the show, you can get it off the site.
Yep.
I was saying this before too. Like you are also a fantastic photographer.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So the social media is a great follow. So make sure you follow Kuf Knotz and Christina Elise on Instagram and whatnot, because it's also a way to keep in touch with where they're going, but also just the photography, the stories too. Like it's just such a great follow. So definitely keep that there. And then the other element that we always like to point out is the Higher Grounds music side of things, because you were part of our Listen to the Dissonance event, and so you are board certified music therapist, and then the Higher Grounds organization will be available to kind of be part of mental health support groups or advocacy or whatever. So kudos to you all for that too. So you're like not only just creating this great music, but also kind of having that giant empathy for people who are struggling. So if you want to quickly speak to that, and then we'll get you off to the stages.
Yeah, so we wanted to do a deeper dive into the communities that we go into and create a space for people to tell their stories. We're on stage telling our story. Yeah. And that kind of flowed into workshops, school assemblies, outpatient program, performances, which often still are performance-based, but then it gives time for discussion and back and forth. And just
I have to imagine
to know people.
You must have had just some incredible experiences and stories from all that. Like, because having had one kind of glance of it through Listen to the Dissonance, that was so touching to have that be as this constant opportunity for you all to be a part of. It's just that's got to be special. So definitely keep that in mind. And again, if you don't hesitate. We always point this out, especially like during a festival, like, oh, you're surrounded by a bunch of people having a great time. Maybe someone's not having a great time. Like, check in with your friends, and if they need help, encourage help. If you need help, it's out there. Don't feel alone. Ask for help whenever. But I just remembered too, I made these Listen to the Dissonance guitar picks.
Ooh.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I almost forgot, and then I'm going to send you off in the middle of the episode. So I did that. Apologies to the audience. But anyway. Kuf Knotz, Christina Elise, thank you so much for coming on the show. Can't wait to see you perform again later on. And I can't wait to see the acoustic performance. This is going to be so much fun.
That's exciting.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely.
Yes, enjoy all the music.
Yes, we will see you on the festival grounds.
Yes.
So welcome Craig Larimer. And we're going to talk about Bethlehem. We love doing this on Musikfest week too. Restroom behind that wall over there. Craig!
How's this? Hello, Phil.
This is perfect.
How are you?
Great. And you?
I'm doing wonderfully well on this sunny Saturday.
Excellent.
Looking forward to enjoying the clear skies and Musikfest celebration, which has been rather limited because of the weather and
bad weather, but also because of how busy you are.
Been busy.
Yeah,
everyone's busy, but we've been very busy here in Bethlehem for sure.
Yeah, let's just go right. Well, actually, let's give you a little bit of a backstory because our very first Winter Wonder Jam, which was on this stage right here, you were still working for the Morning Call at the time.
Correct.
And were so kind to do a nice little piece about it, and then that's how we connected, and then we've formed a friendship, and we love hearing what's going on. And then you've been gotten that much more connected to the basically the Moravian settlements of, bye Christine, the Moravian settlements of Bethlehem, joining in with this UNESCO World Heritage Site. So let's get a little bit of the backstory too on how you evolved into here, and then we can get into that.
I just took a deep breath
Yeah.
because it's exhausting to even think about that journey between being 30 years at the
Right.
Morning Call, and we had a beautiful occasion just last night. A few of us Morning Call alum got together
Right.
at the Iron Pigs just to sort of catch
Oh,
up
that's
and
fun.
check in on one another. And it
correct me
was
if I'm wrong, but
thrilling.
even your dad was part of the Morning Call, so this was like second generation.
Yeah, my dad
Yeah.
started at the Morning Call in 1967, so it's been a long, long time since the Morning Call did not have a Larimer working there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my dad was a sports writer, sports editor. He was the Eagles beat writer for years, and yeah, he would come home full of stories and tell us about the people and the personalities. And I didn't know that I was necessarily destined to work there, but I had an internship at the Morning Call in the early '90s when I was at Wilkes, and it just worked out.
Yeah.
So little by little, bit by bit, that's how things go, right?
Yeah.
You just sort of prove yourself, and then I had this natural curiosity for things, and
Sure.
you know, just itches that needed to be scratched, and wound up being wound up. I earned it. I mean, it wasn't like I just accidentally, whoops, I'm an editor.
Absolutely, no, I love that.
But I was a designer, and I have a BFA, so I was designing page one and leading the visuals department and the photography department and the copy desk, and then things got smaller, and I was asked, I was doing
More
the beer
hats.
column
That's right.
at the time, so I was able to sort of prove that I could do that,
Right.
not just
a
a visual
very
guy.
passionate home brewer,
Yeah.
like making it more like people feeling like it's more of this like legitimate thing rather than just, oh, I brew my own beer. No, like, no, brewing your own beer is like a thing.
Brewing your own beer is definitely a thing.
A thing, yeah.
It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to get right.
Right.
So I have the utmost respect for anyone who does it on a large scale or a small scale,
Sure.
does it well.
Right.
So anyway, I was doing that, and then things got smaller, and they contracted out the design work, but the publisher said, why don't you lead the arts and entertainment desk?
Cool.
And that was probably the best job I've ever had. And,
Yeah.
and all due respect to every job I did before that.
Right,
but
right.
I mean, just to be able to talk about Lehigh Valley art and culture and music and
Which is, yeah.
entertainment and the Freddies and have an
That's
opportunity
true,
to
yeah.
interview people who come down the line and meet people like you who
Yep.
are doing amazing things to promote all these amazing artists we
Yeah.
have locally who
We really do.
people might not be able to hear of. So yeah, it was, and then it was time to move on. So I worked for a little while with Historic Bethlehem Museums and Sites.
Right.
And that led to what I'm doing now, which is I'm working at Moravian University.
Right.
Special Projects Manager is my official title.
Sure.
But I said
Which
the other
sounds
day.
badass, to be honest.
Well, I'm
We
glad-
need Craig. What does he do? Special projects, like
Yeah, right.
dark
Well,
dark ops or something like that.
They're not secret, and
Yeah.
they don't dare be secrets. It's my job to make those projects
Right.
known
It's kind of like
to the public.
Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction. Like
That's
I love
we
the
the description.
We need to call special projects.
I don't know how closely that relates to what I'm doing.
Probably
but,
not at all.
I love the
Any momentum I was building with Moravian University just got lost.
No, it's fine.
I'm just
So
kidding.
there's a number of things. There's a number of things that I have been doing. Working on a partnership with the good people out in Lancaster. We partnered with the Lancaster Theological Seminary,
Yep.
so I've been doing some work out there and doing some programming out there. Some pretty cool things. And this other really, really special.
Yeah,
project
I'm going to
is-
put the image on the screen
What do we
here.
wanna hear- what we
What
wanna
we
talk about?
earned,
Yeah, that's it.
World Heritage Site. I mean, this is a huge deal. Like
It is a massive deal.
Yeah, like we talked about it a little bit last year because it was like farthest along in the process short of an approval, which is already an amazing feat.
Yeah.
And so obviously that last, whatever couple of meters probably was maybe even the hardest part, but would love to hear more about like just, you probably couldn't say some things a year ago that you could now.
You're right. I
Yeah.
think that is where we left it last
Yeah.
time. I think the last we spoke, we had been nominated by the U.S. government.
Correct. That was in place.
Officially nominated in 2022 to be considered as a World Heritage Site. And to be clear, the designation, the site, is Moravian church settlements that include the settlements in Bethlehem that we all know. We walk among
Right.
them, especially during Musikfest.
Yep.
You're walking among
Yeah,
these
yeah,
historic structures.
exactly. I try
and-
and tell people, like, where's this in your site? I'm like, so you're standing in it right
Right,
now.
and we can talk about that in great detail.
Sure.
But I must mention that it is a cluster of sites. It's a cluster of settlements.
Right. Across the
worldwide.
Yeah, internationally.
So it includes Bethlehem. It includes a settlement, Moravian church settlement in Herrenhout, Germany. Another one in Grace Hill, Northern Ireland, and another one in Christiansfeld, Denmark.
Very cool.
And it's actually an extension of the Christiansfeld designation. Christiansfeld, Denmark, a Moravian church settlement, was inscripted to the World Heritage Site in 2015.
Okay.
And it's actually an extension. So the other three settlements that I mentioned are joining
The one that exists.
Christiansfeld.
But it's still a huge deal. Like,
It is a massive
yeah,
deal.
so there are, I'm going to get these numbers wrong, so 20-ish, 28 in the entire United
26.
States. 26.
With us, we're the 26.
And it includes things like Statue of Liberty, Independence Hall, the Golden Gate Bridge, like a ton of things that you would expect to be on the list. And in the world, how many is it in the world, do you know?
There's 1,200. There's like 1,199
Right,
in
okay.
the world. So like 1,200.
Right.
In the world. We're talking about the the Great Wall of China and the pyramids in Egypt.
Right, like,
and
so-
on that scale.
Our daughter studied abroad in Tokyo this last year. Like, it was actually her fall semester a year ago. And so obviously we're going to go visit her. And what did we do? We went to the UNESCO World Heritage Site list of where to go when we were in Japan. Because what do we know? Like, you think you know. And then, so there was stuff that was like, well, this one sounds really cool. Let's go check it out. And it was like life-changing. Like, it was like the most amazing temple I've ever seen. But
Right.
Without their list, I'd probably not have known to go to Nikko, Japan,
Right.
to go see this incredibly important heritage site of theirs. And then you hire a guide and you get this in-depth tour, and it's like amazing. So like, I'm pumped for this. Like, this is like a huge, like, people coming to the U.S. will look at this list and they'll probably say, oh, between New York City and Philadelphia and whatever the heck this is in Bethlehem, we can make that all happen. It's going to be very impactful for our area.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I appreciate that you did all your homework. You would be shocked, well, maybe not shocked, to learn. Some people hear UNESCO World Heritage Site and their eyes light up.
Yes.
Others, maybe the majority of others, some of my friends, some of the people in the neighborhood,
Sure.
you say this and it maybe
Blank
falls on
stare.
deaf
Yeah.
ears, or they hear World Heritage Site sounds
That's
like
impressive,
a big deal.
yeah.
But when you start defining and describing what it is, when you start mentioning the other United States World Heritage Sites,
Yeah.
when you start mentioning these other sites globally,
Yeah.
then they seem
Right.
to grasp it and then they say, well, how the heck did we
Right.
get on that list?
Right. And that's, you're not realizing how special what we have is.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. I mean, I grew up here and, 56 years in this city and I love it. I became a Moravian after I met my wife and her family, and little by little, bit by bit, you begin to realize how truly unique
Sure.
and special. It's not really even about the buildings. I mean, the buildings are the architecture, the design, the town planning that went into
Exactly.
it is amazing. The line is they have outstanding universal value. That
Sure.
is the merit by which UNESCO World Heritage Sites are measured. And that is true.
Yeah.
That the architecture is sublime and the ingenuity.
Wasn't it things
and-
like running water and stuff when at a time in the 1700s? Like,
Yeah. We, the Moravians, like I'm a
There you
Moravian,
go.
I can say that we
Own it.
developed in, the early 18th century
Yeah.
at the waterworks. You will walk right by it. If you're at Musikfest and you walk east after you've gone to Festplatz, you will cross over the Monocacy Creek and you'll be looking right at the waterworks, the first municipal pumped water system in the United States.
Yeah. Here
Before
in
Philadelphia,
Bethlehem.
before New York, it was right here in the United States, pumping water from the spring, natural spring water,
Yep.
potable water,
Yep.
up the hill, which I believe the cistern was located about where Central Moravian Church is. So
Okay.
up that hill through hollowed out logs and a primitive plumbing system,
Amazing.
pumping the water, in a wheel and pumping the water and generating enough pressure and power
Yeah.
to push it up into the cistern so that people could,
Access,
drink
yeah.
and cook and do all those things they needed to do. Amazing.
Amazing, incredible. And the other parts too that I think are worthy of this as well is the different elements of that women were treated more equally. Both boys and girls were taught in school. Like there was no divide there that was maybe more indicative of the time, and so they should be celebrated for that part as well, their equity.
Yes. Yeah, equity and just the Moravian spirit
Yeah.
and education for all and equality for all people. I mean, you walk into Central Moravian Church, and I welcome everyone to do it. And I'm
Sure.
not saying you need to become a Moravian,
Right.
although it would be lovely if people just thought that way.
Sure.
I think right now we have so much momentum because people are catching on to the fact that the Moravian spirit is something unique and special, and
Yeah.
it's not magic; it's just humanity, and it's about
Right,
equality.
it's like, this isn't difficult, it's not rocket science, but still, it was that hard to come by.
Well, I mean,
Even
it
in
has
today's
been
day, like, it's just
historically-
insane. But anyway.
Yeah, historically, it has been hard to come
Correct,
by, and
exactly.
in the end, it's just about decency. And you walk into Central Moravian Church on a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of people who look like me. There's a lot of people who don't look like me,
Yeah.
and straight, gay, black, Asian. It's amazing
Yep.
what it has become.
Yeah.
And it's a nurturing environment. It's a welcoming environment. We say every Sunday, wherever you are in your faith journey and however you identify,
Yep.
you have a place here at Central Moravian Church, and we mean it. We actually mean it.
For sure.
And
Because it wouldn't have lasted this long if it didn't
No.
mean it. Like, yeah.
And that's the spirit that we're really looking forward to promoting, along with the architecture and the historic structures,
Exactly.
and the ingenuity and the art and the music and all the things that are a part
Yep.
of this amazing Moravian culture.
Yeah.
That when you're walking around the city, you feel it. You don't know what you feel. It feels quaint. It feels safe. Yes, you look up and there's a belfry and it's attractive and it's
Sure.
interesting. But there's something else that's going on in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And I think it's this Moravian
The spirit. Exactly.
that continues
Yeah.
almost 300 years after they settled here in
Sure,
Bethlehem.
and it seems pervasive. Like you had one of the most world-renowned steel companies. Like you
Yes.
had all this other stuff going. Like it just seems to be where that set the tone for everything else to happen.
You're
But,
exactly right.
Yeah, I think too. Like I don't think anybody could ever confirm this or whatever, but I think we were governmentally hedging for this as well, because suddenly the Allentown Airport got like $5 million from infrastructure, and the city of Bethlehem got a ton of money from the infrastructure bill to kind of improve the roads, because I think they all went, well, if this becomes a UNESCO World Heritage Site, we're going to need better roads, better airports, better everything. And we're all going to be very happy for that. So that's the other part, is if people don't know what a UNESCO World Heritage Site means, and you're from this area, especially living in Bethlehem, you're going to want to know what that means, because you better start getting ready.
Well, you're right, and I should mention that if you would like to know more about the story, please visit MoravianChurchSettlements.org.
Hey, I'll bring it up.
MoravianChurchSettlements.org. It's a mouthful, but there's a lot of information about the 4 sites, as we mentioned, the 4 global sites. There's information about how we got here. There's information about the nomination. There's information, there's photography that just gives you a better feel
Here it is.
for how the other sites look. And there is a similarity among them.
Yeah, look at that.
Images
That's
that were
amazing.
selected for the cover, the belfries are present. So from left to right, we have the Bethlehem settlement, then the Christian Spelled settlement, then the Grace Hill settlement in Northern Ireland, and the Herrenhut settlement in Germany. And it has been an absolute delight and pleasure to work among not only the Bethlehem contingent, the council and the
Yeah, this is
commission,
awesome.
the mayor's office, Hank Barnett, former CEO and president of Bethlehem Steel, Charlene Donchez-Mowers, always
Right.
influential, essential people in the area that know the story, that want to promote the spirit
Yep.
of the Moravians. Everyone I just mentioned are Moravians, by the way. The mayor, Hank Barnett, Charlene Donchez-Mowers, the guy you're sitting next to. And you feel that spirit when you're in the room.
Look at that amazing. Like that's,
Yeah, that's
that's
the
right
same-
at the bottom of Main Street.
Yeah, that's the Second Single Brethren's house, and that's owned by Moravian University. And the great thing about it, and the special connection for me, is that was the location directly south of that, directly in back of that. That was the location of the very first brewery in Bethlehem, the Single Brethren's Brewery.
Wow. Come right back to
And
beer every time.
There's some storytelling there.
In a great way.
Yeah, so Bethlehem,
That's so cool.
a cradle of industry. I mean, you mentioned it, the Bethlehem Steel. I mean, I think the Moravians and what they had built along the Monocacy Creek,
Yeah.
at that colonial industrial quarter, the
Yep.
tannery, the tinsmith,
Sure.
the dye house, all those things. along Monocacy Creek were the foundation and
it's inspirational.
Yeah. For all the things that came after.
Outstanding. Thank you for sharing all of that. Where did they have to go? For like the final vote or the approval, the mayor and those. It
was in New Delhi, India.
India. I kept saying Turkey, but I knew it was somewhere like out, like it was international.
It
travel.
Is out there.
So yeah, they had to go to India for like the final approval, and then that's amazing. Like they must have been hooting and hollering after getting that.
Well, I've spoken to the mayor. I've spoken to the president of the university, the delegation, and Chris Giesler, the Moravian bishop, who also made the trip for the announcement.
Right.
And they're still rather awestruck by the experience. I mean, to be in a room with the international collection of nominees,
right?
And it didn't work out for all of them. But to be in a room that could essentially
that's what makes it such an important list.
Yes.
Is it's a curated, validated, actual. Again, it's earned its place on this list. So again, we need to be more proud than ever before.
Yeah, and I think our responsibility now, my responsibility now, is to share the story, to talk to people like you who obviously are interested, influential, and are storytellers themselves. Learn the story, get to know the history, and then share that story with the visitors who are going to come here. We have an obligation to understand it.
Traveling to Musikfest and Bethlehem at other points in the year, but people are traveling to Musikfest from all over the place because of the music, because of the vibe, because of everything. So on this week, I specifically always want to bring on people who are like community leaders to highlight how awesome the town is, so that you not only appreciate what it is when you get here, but maybe want to come back during a non-Music Fest time. So that's one of the reasons why when you were initially like, hey, I can't talk about music too much because of this thing, I'm like, no, that's the thing I want you to talk about.
Well, I will be attending I did attend a concert. I'm going to attend another concert.
You're going to see Kuf Knotz and Christina
I'm going to
Elise.
go back and see those two. I can't wait to experience that.
Well, let me. So actually, can you stick around for some music?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
Basically, this episode's almost flipped upside down. So like, instead of starting with the picks of the plots and then bringing on a guest and a second guest, we brought on a guest and a second guest, and now we're going to talk picks of the plots. So grab a set of headphones.
Perfect. Does it matter?
Either one does not matter. And Michael, are you here?
I am here.
Do you want to come join us?
Sure.
I know you like this part too. So.
Absolutely.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Good to meet you.
Sunblock all over me.
Yes.
That's important.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Egan. Hello there. You joined last year, right?
I did. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Careful pulling. No, take your turn.
There we go.
Okay, cool. So what we have here is, let me bring this up for you all. This is the list for today. Because of weather also, this is Mike's first day. We had plans to do more than one day of festing this year from Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is who we're going to check out today. The fave of the day, our top pick, is Dust Bowl Revival. That's actually how we're going to finish the day. Outstanding band, and like I said, we kind of just rip it down here because we're going to play one song from each of these. The Steelworkers Polka Band, which is, you got to always, I always say this, is you got to find a way to have polka. It's where the festival started. Have you come all 41 years?
I don't think I've missed any.
Yeah, wow. That's what I mean. Yeah. So you will remember in those early years, which I was not here for, but everyone always kind of gives me that backstory. It was a polka festival.
Yeah, I'm 41 for 41.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah. And so like, the polka music is what the whole festival was founded on, because it's a Moravian festival in essence, right?
It
comes from that.
Music.
Like, I mean, music, beer, and food is really what the festival's about.
Yeah, and Moravians support all three.
Correct, right? Sure. And so, being that kind of folk music of that time frame of being polka, that's what it's about. And so, this is one of the best bands that do it, and they do such a wonderful job. So that's where we're going to head right when we're done here. Drew and the Blue is like, they're so fun. It's like rockabilly, but no, I mean, it's just so great. Dylan Zangwill, one of the best young performers around, and then Kuf Knotz and Christina Elise. So since the whole episode is upside down, we're going to actually start at the bottom and move up and finish with Dust Bowl Revival, since that's also how our day will end. So let's start with Kuf Knotz and Christina Elise. As you know, we were playing earlier, we played the live version of a song they played yesterday that you actually can't get a recording of. If you want to hear, you have to come to the show. But this is a recorded song that they recently put out called High Vibrations.
Sometimes you just gotta exhale and let it all go.
Through all the trials and tribulations, I learned to value patience. No, not a simple task, but they say practice makes perfect. I searched it, it was urgent. Walking on the edge of a tilted surface, driven by thirst to find my purpose. It's all divine, and this music helped me though. In times of sorrow, it pulled me through, gave me strength to reach a true place of understanding and share the tools I find more often through sounds and words, hearts are softened. And the stress is less indeed. Let's share that jewel and be tied.
Feel it in your body now. But life gets complicated. Got me complicated. Feel it in your body now.
What their recorded music doesn't necessarily allow to get kind of portrayed is how amazing they are live. And some of the things we were talking about before is she plays a harp and he's controlling the beats in the moment. So it's a live performance in all of the same ways that a more traditional like rock band would be, except it just happens to be, beats and harp and rapping and singing. Like it's
incredible.
Yeah.
And they have 2 shows today?
2, yeah. So at 2:00 it's acoustic, so it'll be only harp and rapping and singing.
Are they both at Liederplatz?
No, the first one is on that like Martin guitar Lagerplatz,
great, okay.
like the one under the bridge,
and then Liederplatz.
And then Liederplatz at 7. Yeah, so I didn't list the 2:00 because most people will be checking this out at 3, so that will already be behind them. But for us, we're gonna get there.
I can definitely get over there.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
It's excellent. It's excellent. It's just so good. And they shot this video. We did a full interview with them last July, so like a little over a year ago. They shot this video. They were about to, and they actually put a call out. So we even had it on the show where like it was being filmed somewhere. I think in like I want to say Pottstown or something like that. They had picked the location and they were like, anybody wants to, if you can roller skate, stop by.
Oh, wow.
And it was like an open call. So they were like, they said to me on the show, they were like, that's what I said that they offered. They're like, hey, if you know how to roller skate, come on out. I'm like, that will not be good for the show. And given what this ended up being, it would have been a horrible decision on my part. So yeah, tonight 7, and again, if you can make it at 2 for the acoustic one, that should be amazing. So I just need to remind myself, Working Upside Down, we're gonna do Dylan, Drew, and then the Steelworkers Polka Band. So okay, gets to some Dylan. Oh, so Dylan Zangwill, he was part of our first No Planet B Jamboree. And so he's actually playing in later plots at 4, and then the Main Street stage at 6:30, which are basically right back to each other. So I was actually going to bring in him performing at the No Planet B Jamboree, which was in that same courtyard. So this is like a flavor of what his show is, and the space he will be in, and I think you're going to love it. So check out some Dylan Zangwill.
Once again, my name is Dylan Zangwill. I'm 16 years old, and it's a pleasure playing for you guys today.
So he's 18 now. That was 2 years ago. Yeah. But wait to hear like what comes out of him. You're like, oh my goodness.
It doesn't fit.
If you guys are interested, you can find me on all
you were there, right?
I was.
platforms.
He's only gotten better and taller. I think he's like 8 feet tall now.
One of the tunes we recorded down at the Cash Cabin, which will be released soon, I promise. But anyways, this tune is called Don't Go.
Baby, it's time for someone new. Well, your way will fall short. The eagle flies to your north, singing, don't leave him behind. You know my truth, line on the live well. Don't go with that look on your face. You ain't a woman, you're disgrace.
Getting that Chris Cornell, Greg Allman vibe off this guy.
He's incredible.
Powerful.
Yeah. He was on American Idol, America's Got Talent. all before this. Like it was at 16 he had already done those things. Now he's 18, he's really getting into his own as far as like his own sound, playing originals more than anything. And he's just incredible. Like you watch that and you're like, yep, that's just a natural born talent.
Okay, so where can we see him today?
So today he will be on later plots. So again, that Sun Inn Courtyard at 4 o'clock, and then, or if you can't get to that one, 6:30 on the Main Street stage.
You just post up at later plots.
That's exactly right.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Exactly, yeah. We're gonna start with the polka and then make our way up there.
And definitely get a chance to see him now with maybe 150, 200 people in the audience, because in a couple of years you're not going to have that ability anymore because he's only getting better and better. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's such a nice person. What was funny is, so that's like my favorite song by him. And so we happened to be like, I got lucky enough to get asked to come on our local television station to give like, what are your picks for Musikfest week? So it was the week before everything started, and I get to the station, and Dylan's there too. So he's playing music while I'm just going to be like a guest on for a few minutes. And then I said, can I stick around to hear him perform even after my part was done? And they're like, of course. So he was like, oh, do you want to hear a song? And I was like, play Don't Go. And his dad is standing there. He goes, what, are you crazy? Like, he'll blow out the speakers. Because it's such a powerful song, he needed to play something a little more calm. But he looked at me with a look like, I kind of want to blow the speakers.
Sure.
It was really fun. But such a great kid. And I don't even mean to say kid. Like, he's
18.
An exceptional performer, and is worth everybody's time. So let's bring in the next song. Is by a band called Drew and the Blue. I think it's another one that's going to be like I think each one of these performers, you're just, whether it's like the style or whatever, you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm all in. So here's another one I think you're going to love called, the song is called Love You to Death by Drew and the Blue. So, again, like you said it when it started, you're like, oh, I was unexpected. That's what I was talking about. Like, this is the kind of stuff where you're just like, what? Amazing performer, super high energy. He's a drummer who sings, which already is different, and he doesn't sit down. He drums standing up and singing. It's the coolest thing. Wow. So in addition to being worthy of watching for the music, it's again like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go see a rapper and a harpist, or I'm going to see a stand-up rockabilly drummer. Like, it's like, what a day. And this is 3 o'clock. Like, by this point, we're going to already have had an amazing day, and it's only just begun. So Drew and the Blues, 3 o'clock at Zinsenplatz.
That's amazing.
They're super fun.
So
I think they're from Reading.
Is that 3? How many people in the
band? I think
band?
it's a 3-piece.
Okay. That's uncommon that you'd see the drummer lead.
And it's incredibly difficult.
Look at it.
Right? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's
it's like
I
worthy
had no
of
idea that he was even playing the drums when the song started,
Right.
and then pulled out and I saw the kit, and that's incredible.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Big fan of Drew and the Blue.
I always wonder how they decide the genre of music they're going to play. Like most people coming up with a guitar or whatever, they're playing what's popular. And that sounds great, but it's not necessarily what you would hear as a kid. So how do you get into that genre?
It's so true. I've sometimes asked that, like, what was the path to this?
Right.
And sometimes they're like, what are you talking about? What else would I be playing? And then sometimes it's, oh, this happened, then this happened, and I landed in this. So it's like, it is kind of all, which is why I love the stories, because no two stories are the same. Like, it's just amazing to talk with these people about either their genre or the instrument they ended up with or stuff. It's just like, there's always an amazing story there. So we did Kuf, we did Dylan, we did Drew, so now it's time for some polka.
Nice. You can never go wrong with polka.
Right, and again, it's on for 3 hours, and we talk about this a little bit on the show, especially as we get ready for, like the festival every year. We just kind of point out, like, because of the roots of the festival, if you love the festival, you kind of owe it to the festival and the history to get down there for some polka.
Makes sense.
And right across, I always point this out, right across from the stage it's on, because they're on Festplatz, which is the big party stage. Right across that way is Carl Emmer's Meats. Go get yourself a bratwurst or something with sauerkraut on it or whatever.
Check that box last weekend.
Yep. Grab a beer if you're so inclined, or water if you're not, and a sausage, and go sit down in the polka tent and enjoy some polka music. So this is actually a recording that we took in a prior year, I think it was from 2 years ago, of the Steelworkers Polka Band from that tent. So this is exactly what you're going to see. You probably will see these exact humans as well. Like they're just dancing.
They've
for 3
never
straight
left.
hours.
They've been here since last week.
Yeah.
Will we see you dancing, Phil?
No, I don't know these moves. Like I need someone to teach me the polka dancing. But
cut in.
But the other thing I always like to point out is, look at the youth of the performers. So Robbie Lawrence is the guy in the middle. He's the one that kind of is the lead on the Steelworkers Polka Band. He's keeping it alive. Like it's something that he wants to. It's what he plays, and he's great at it. And he keeps these people all in touch to be able to continue to perform polka music year round, and then especially for the festival. So kudos to Robbie and all he does with that.
I think you've interviewed him before, right?
It was our very first Musikfest Exordium. He came on and talked about the history of polka. It was a very, very, again, like just a cool dive into that. So yeah, there is an interview out there with him to kind of, and he had such great stories about, that. And apparently the movie, it's on Netflix, called Polka King, is about one of the people who was like in this inner circle and had like kind of like I don't know if it was a Ponzi scheme or something that he got involved with, but it was like, it was worthy enough of doing a movie about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's a kind of an interesting watch as well. But definitely come down sometime between 12 and 3 to join us at the Festplatz tent to take in some polka. And then our last one is Dust Bowl Revival. This was one of 2 holy crap it's free bands, because the Arts Quest always tries to book at least 1, maybe 2, where you're just like, how did they put that on a free stage?
Right.
So one was Preservation Hall Jazz Band. That was Thursday night. Tonight is the other one for us. Dust Bowl Revival was one of our top picks. Both David and I had it on our top 7, which is kind of what we do. And you'll hear why. Like I'm actually going to play 2 by them. One is, again, similar like we talked about Kuf and Christine. Difference between their live performance to their pre-recorded stuff from the studio. Both great, but there's just something special with the energy of the live performance. But let's start with the pre-recorded one, because it's a brand new single from them called Best Day.
I had a coffee in my hand. I felt like I couldn't stand no more. And then I fell into the street. They said I hit my head so hard that I was floating in the stars. A taxi almost ran over my feet. Purple blood coming from my head. I looked up and there you were, just standing there. Love is a funny thing, it takes it all and you're back again.
To me, nothing but like this is absolutely like perfect recipe for festivals.
Oh yeah,
like a Dr. Dog kind of a.
Yeah, and also just like
cool, very cool.
This is the music you want to be listening to on a perfect sunny day in the summer with a beer in your hand and your buddies around. Like it's just like.
And I love bands that are able to bring brass in. I just like the sound a lot.
So we were lucky enough to interview them right before the festival started. So like there is one that's our latest episode basically dropped around this time a week ago, and it was with them. And like the other awesome thing about them is they talk about like having 2 types of songs. One that's like this, where it's a little bit more like party, fun, happy, and then they have other stuff that's extremely deep and like emotional.
Oh, really?
And it was just really neat. He's actually also what he went to school for was like playwriting and screenwriting and stuff. So a lot of his music is very like
storytelling,
and it has an element of almost like you could be like, okay, I could see this being on a show tune almost, like a modern Broadway type stuff. And then you can see there are a bunch of characters. They're dressed up as superheroes and stuff like that. Check out like just what they kind of look like and the party on stage. Again, that will just add to the festival atmosphere. So this is a live recording of a song called Sonic Boom.
It's raining now, but I got sunshine in my eye. Maybe if I believe it, it's not really a lie. Well, I got good at lying. Dig too deep, you might not like what you find. You've been working at the paper,
You know, just such layering in there, like you said with the horns. Now it's got some strings in there.
And I can definitely see what you're saying with the show tune-esque.
Right. Yeah.
Like that could definitely be in the middle of a show.
Totally.
Just need the obligatory tap dancers in the back. If it's
Right, yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is like, he said, he's like, I never want to be the solo singer. I always want another voice, preferably female. And he even said, he's like, I want the lyrics as they're telling the story to almost be perfect for, you know, the person singing it. So if it's a conversation between two people, then she sings certain lines, he sings certain lines, not just for the oral quality, but also for the storytelling quality.
And you can immediately tell. I mean, I guess all performers are attempting to tell a story while they're singing, but that you can tell, like they're in the middle of something. It's
100%. And the lineup isn't always the same. Like, so Z, who's the lead singer, is always there. Pretty much everyone else in the band is kind of like a mixture of, like a pool of, it's like they'll go on tour and they'll see who's available, and then that's their setup for that one. So it may not look exactly like this, but it's still going to be this level of quality because everyone they pull from is a part of the band.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Are they Midwestern or are they?
So that's funny.
Yeah.
He grew up in Illinois.
Okay.
But then when he finished film school, he went to LA, and that's where they're based out of. Is more SoCal, but a lot of like with the name Dust Bowl Revival and kind of their sound, it does feel a little more Midwestern. But it's because where we grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's like 3, 4, 5 bands that we shouldn't miss.
We should not miss, and
today.
that's been like every day of the festival. So again, like even though the rain has been there, it hasn't stopped the spirit of the festival.
Not only the rain, but the heat. I mean,
that's right. The first couple of days
it's
were
83
brutal.
degrees today. It's ideal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So today and tomorrow, both days, we didn't even need to talk about weather because it's utterly perfect. So get yourself down there. We're gonna, as soon as I hit done on here, we're going to the polka tent, and then it's gonna be, you know, from there, Kuf Knotz, Drew and the Blue, Dylan, back to Kuf Knotz, you know, and then catch some of, and then we'll get over for Dust Bowl Revival at the end. So it's gonna be a great day.
And maybe take a tour of Central Moravian Church.
And then we will do that as well. I don't think you're going to want our
2 to 4 today and tomorrow.
sweaty
There's my plug.
Alcohol addled
You can
brains
leave
in there.
leave your mugs at the door.
That's exactly what we'll do. But anyway, Craig Larimer, thanks for joining the show. Mike, thanks for guest co-hosting.
Anytime. Love it.
Nice to meet you.
I also
Nice
wanted
meet
you to
also, sir.
catch a little kind of, you know, warm up of the music we're
I
about to see.
can't wait. That's great.
Awesome. So we'll close it out again with Blair Crimmins and the Hookers. It's all over now.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.